go. All righty, you are looking live at sold out MetLife Stadium with today. The 16-0 playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. Started the season 10-1 and got smoked in the first round of the playoffs. Couldn't even score 10 points in a playoff game. Lost, I believe it was 32-9. And spent $400 million so far in free agents and extended contracts and all. You know why I had to spend all that money? Because they sucked before and they're still going to suck. Philadelphia Eagles, you suck. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all, I'm going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Whoever anybody's going to spend time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free to fire away. Throw in the chat box like Ruben there. Usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free and fire away. But also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free and fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and third membership level I got's called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to it, so if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. I thank you in advance. If you're subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed, thank you. Maybe give this video a thumbs up or share it. That'd be freaking awesome. And then finally, also just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link. I'll go over that in just a second. Then the one underneath it, it's always be, to me, it's a Twitter link, right? I'm one of them old-time farts. I can't stand change, like stuff the way things just is, right? I'm one of them, get off my lawn, old-time fart guys, right? It's a Twitter link. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants me to call it, I ain't calling it that, bro. You can call it if you want that. I'm calling it Twitter, right? Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. And finally, the link on top of it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. Very original, I know, because it's the same exact title as my YouTube channel. That's because it was the only thing I could think of. But we have over 8,100 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but the members post stuff in this group as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, well, all that stuff said and done and out with, man, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty there. As the thumbnail says, we're Tuffy Leemans days away. That's why you never see like a Brett Favre or anything like that on the New York Football Giants, because number 4 has been retired for a long time. Tuffy Leemans, I think it's 1936 to 1943 for the Giants. He was in the Hall of Fame and all that stuff and everything. So that's why we're only like 4 days away from the NFL draft. And actually, what do we got? In about a little over an hour, we'll be down to like 3 days or so, whatever. So we're getting there. Got some obviously some draft related stuff here. I'm going to probably do I'll probably do like one mock draft before or another mock draft before for the actual draft. I'll be going live too. I'll be going live for the draft. So I'll be going live Thursday and Friday for the draft. So I can hardly wait. I don't know, it's like you're waiting all this time and it's so exciting and all that, but so it's also nice to get here too. Because I'm sick and tired of seeing. Once again, I'm an old time fart, so please forgive me. All these mock drafts is just like drive me freaking bananas. All right, what do we got here? Well, once again, no love for the New York Football Giants. I'll tell you that. It seems like every year it's like, and I guess understandably so, I guess, when you don't win many games, I guess you're not going to get much love. But the Giants, like, as far as like how many games the Giants are supposed to win next season, I think it's like 6.5. It's not much love there. And now we also have here the Giants ranked their roster ranked among the NFL's worst. Now, I've seen a few articles on this, so it was just not from just Giants Wire, but I did see a few articles on this, and once again, we're not getting any love, no love at all. It says the Giants. This is from Giants Wire. New York Giants general manager Joe Schoen admits the team is more than a few players away from competing, but that may be somewhat of an understatement. I think we're not one player. Oh no, we're not. Oh no, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He says, I think we're not one player away or two players away. Nope. Shane told reporters this week. Austin Mock of The Athletic recently took it upon himself to rank the roster of all 32 teams ahead of the 2024 NFL Draft, and it doesn't look good for the Giants. Well, shocking. They were listed as number 30th overall. Wow. And Mock suggests that's actually being somewhat kind. Wow. Jeez. Man. Holy cow. So this guy, whoever Austin Mock is, I have no idea. Two teams ranked worst for 2024, but I think the Giants might be in the worst shape for the future. All right, good. Hey, thanks, buddy. The Giants have paid a quarterback who isn't the answer. Well, they only haven't paid for maybe one more year. So I'm not sure if this guy knows that or not. We can get out after this season. And they don't have a pick to draft one in the top prospect in this year's draft. Well, you don't have to draft a quarterback in the first round to get a good quarterback. So I'm really thrilled to be reading this article from this whoever this Austin Mock is. They could move up to get one. They don't have to move up to get one. They can. There's guys in the later that they can get. This guy's really intelligent. But if they don't, I suppose wide receiver makes the most sense. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you're intelligent. Will the Giants surrender additional draft assets to move up for a quarterback? Given their roster deficiencies, it's hard to imagine they'd short themselves with so many needs. It would be smarter to trade back and secure additional draft picks, both in 2024 and in 2025, to help rebuild their lacking depth. One quarterback who will ride the pine in 2024 isn't going to turn the ship around. Nope. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done, and that should start with building numbers through the draft. Well, that's the one thing the Giants, he's absolutely right there. The Giants only got the 6 picks, so that is not good. Okay, I was going to try to read who he had, because you can click on this thing. Who Austin Mock of The Athletic recently took upon us to rank all the rosters, the 32 rosters, but you click on a link, it takes you to The Athletic, and you need a subscription to read the rest of them. So I'm not getting a subscription to The Athletic, so I have no idea, who he ranked as the other top teams and all that and everything. But he's got the Giants at number 30. Now, the thing is with the Giants, obviously we got some holes, but as we saw like last year, we need some good. So we also could use some depth too, obviously, and also with that also helps some good coaching as well too. Now, I'm just going to throw out with the offensive line, okay, if you, I really believe I'm not saying that if they had the best offensive coach out there, okay, I'm not saying I could be on the roster and he'll turn me into a Hall of Famer. That's not happening. But with good coaching, okay, you can take subpar players and elevate them make them better. As we saw last season, I mean, it was like it was almost kind of comical the way, we had the guys. Some of the guys that we had in there were almost kind of lost, and then when they got injured, the guys we brought in were almost kind of lost. So I mean, but one of those things you just don't know how much was that just the players are just not very good, or how much is that maybe the coaching not very good, because that's not all. It's not all equal. Bobby Johnson, right, is not mentioned in the same breath as some of the upper echelon offensive line coaches, right? So what could have those other offensive line coaches have done with this group? I said, I'm not saying he turned, Justin Pugh or, Zudu or McKeithen or Shane Lemire into all pros or not like that, but I'm sure he would have elevated their play. But I mean, one of them you can always kind of go back to is that how many freaking times it's just like it was almost like a comedy show, like with the stunts and the twists. It was just a joke. I mean, the quarterback dropped back the pass to be like a stunt or a twist or something like that, and the guard would, would be blocking the one guy, and he would go away from him, and then the guard would be like looking around, and somebody stunt like right past him. It's like, what is going on? So I'm really interested to see, if Carmen Basile can, turn some of these guys around and make things look a lot better. I mean, to be fair, we do need some depth. Certainly, we certainly need some depth, and we have some holes. Yes, what I'm kind of, I say this all the time. Oh, how hyped! Oh yeah, very, very hyped. Very, very hyped. Very, very. I can't wait. I can't wait for it to get here. I mean, it's like building and building and building. It's like, all right, let's get here. Yeah. But I mean, it'll be here before, obviously before you know it. It'll be here, and obviously it'll be here. It's almost like Christmas. You wait for it. You wait for it. You wait for it. It's finally here, and just like that, it's gone. So, but at least once the draft's over with, well, as of right now, we'll have 6 more picks unless we do some trading or something like that. And then we can move forward. And then, of course, there's the undrafted free agents. You bring some of those guys in. There's some free agents out there. I'll take him. I'll take Neighbors. Well, that's going to bring me into one of my other stories. I don't even know. I got 3 million. Oh, here we go. 3 million tabs opened up here. From Sports. Oh, Sports Not. Okay. Here's a good article here. It says 4 reasons why the Giants need a top receiver in this draft. And, oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll take that. Because, I mean, if they trade up to get a quarterback, I mean, they're going to be drafting somebody who's not going to be helping them this year. And you're going to be trading up, and you might be losing at least another pick in this year's draft to trade up. So now you're going to have even less guys to draft. And as I said, and the first guy you're picking is going to be sitting on the bench most of the season, if not all the season, so he's not going to be able to help the team this much. So I'm very, very excited about it. I can't wait. As I said, I'm going to be going live. So, I mean, if anybody wants to join me, I'll be going whatever, 8:30, whatever the draft starts. So I'll be going live Thursday and Friday. So won't be the same after this. Well, that's the thing. I mean, they also say with the ACL too, is that a lot of times it's the second season where you're fully healed and all of that. That was kind of like with Darian Beavers last year. He got injured in the preseason. Was it 2022? I guess he tried to come back last season. He just wasn't quite the same. So look for Darian Beavers, to maybe make an input this season. He may not crack the starting lineup or something like that with the linebacker. He may not beat out McFadden, obviously Karake, but look for Beavers maybe to get some some reps on the D, but also look for him on special teams as well, because this will be the second season he'll be back from his ACL. Same thing with Daniel Jones. I mean, with Daniel Jones, this is going to be his first season. Now he's trying to get back. He'll be back. But, part of the game that he had was in 2022 was his running ability. So we'll have to wait and see how much that is the ACL winds up affecting him. Bobby and Beavers will be insane. I hope so. Yeah, I'm really anxious to see Beavers, because it was a shame, because he seemed like he was doing pretty good in training camp and in preseason and all of a sudden, just like that. Now, he's got the size, he's got the speed and all of that, so I'm really, really anxious to see him out there. It was a shame. It was just almost because I think he just wasn't quite the same after coming back from that injury. So hopefully this season he'll be back and better. DJ will win comeback player of the year. I'll tell you, well, if he does, sign me up for it. Who are the top quarterbacks? In the draft next season? Well, there's a bunch of them. I mean, you hear different things. I heard one guy, Gene Clemens, Gene Clemens. He was talking with Patty Traina, and he said that he seems to think that, a lot of the quarterbacks next season coming out aren't too bad. I don't even see. I don't think. Let me see here. I got the big board here, but I don't know. It doesn't do the NFL draft for 2025. I got the PFF big board, the draft big board, and all of that, and they bring out the guys from this year's draft, but they don't talk about players from next season. But there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks coming out, So I've heard it. Obviously, it's not as good as this year's. There's no Caleb Williams as of right now, anyway. But I've heard some people say it's not as good. But I've also heard a couple people say, let the players play the season out, and then we'll see where, So, well, it's going to be interesting to see what the Giants do. Because, we can talk all we want about all of this stuff and everything. Well, Sanders, I tell you, I've seen Sanders. Now, once again, you don't know. But once again, I read this stuff. And I don't know how true it is or whatever. But Coach Prime, there was I don't know what there was, 6 or 7. Or once again, if his son got drafted by one of the other teams, I don't know if there would be a problem or something. Once again, I don't know, because you read all these stories, but there was 6 or 7 or 8 teams that Coach Prime would let his son play for. I think it was the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Commanders. And I was looking. I didn't see the Giants on there. But he's a good athlete, freakish athlete. I mean, you give him one more season, develops his game. Right? Who knows? I can't remember. There was 6, 7, or 8 teams on there that he would let his son. That's what the article said. I'd let my son play for. I mean, I don't know if the Dolphins drafted him. It's he's not going to play for him. I don't know. But he listed 3 to 4 teams from the NFC East that he would let his son play, or maybe want his son to play for, and Giants weren't one of them. Well, he had kind of when he was being drafted in 89, the Giants were, when the heck were they drafted? Number 10 or something like that. I forgot. I'd have to go look, or whatever it was. But they wanted him to, Deion Sanders, to come in, and they wanted to talk to him, and they wanted him to go over his I think he said something like their defensive book or something like that. And they gave him a nice thick book or something whatever, for him to go over, and they were going to ask him a bunch of questions about it or something like that. And he was like, excuse me, where are you guys drafting at? Hold on, let me see here. New York Giants, let's see. Oh, that's a 1989 NFL draft. Because he had a see, where did the Giants draft at? Oh, wow. Was it that far? Oh my God. Oh, number 18. Oh wow, 18. Jeez. Okay, wasn't even close. I thought Deion said something else, but anyway. So the Giants wanted to talk to Deion Sanders, and read this thick book and all that stuff. They were going to ask him questions, and according to Deion, he's like, "Excuse me, what are you guys drafting at?" And I thought he said 10th, but apparently they drafted Brian Williams, a center from Minnesota, with number 18. So I guess they told him 18 then, I guess, whatever. He's like, I'm not even going to be around to pick 18. So he didn't even bother talking to him or something like that. So I don't know if he's got like a problem with the Giants or something like that, whatever, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, there'll be quarterbacks out there. That's for sure. The thing is that, what are they doing with Daniel Jones? They're going to keep him for next season too, and then draft a quarterback. And then draft the quarterback next season who might sit around and then might help them out in 2020, the 2026. I mean, so it's going to be very interesting to see. I would be shocked if the Giants didn't wind up drafting a quarterback somewhere along the lines. There's a bunch of them. The thing is now, the thing is that because they traded away their early second round pick to get Brian Burns. So you can, so with that early second round pick, you can see them, they could maybe couple up maybe a fourth round or something like that and move back into the first round or somewhere around there. You have to wait and see where Nix goes, Penix goes. Do they make it to the second round or not? See, if they're sitting at 47, and if they don't move anywhere, they just sit at 47. I don't know where, Penix or Nix ain't probably going to reach them there. So we might be looking at, there's really good, good quarterbacks out there. Now, let me see here. Is this the big board? Here we go. All right. Now, of course, there's always Rattler. So he's somebody I can certainly see being around maybe at 47, right? I heard a lot of good things about Pratt from Tulane. PFF has him ranked as the 97th best player, according to their, right? Now, Travis from Florida State, very, very interesting. He had obviously, leading Florida State to the undefeated, very good quarterback. I mean, I can't say I've sat here and broke down all his film and tape and watched all this. I'm not going to say that because I haven't done that, but very good athlete. He did a very good job for that. And unfortunately, sadly, he wound up getting injured, But, if you're going to get somebody like him, take a flyer on him if he lasts maybe to the third or fourth round. Hey, right? Why not take a flyer on the guy? But then also Milton. Now, the thing is with Milton, what is he? Yeah, there you go. According to PFS, 6'5", 235. Dude's got a freaking, he's like Josh Allen, cannon of an arm. We're talking prototypical quarter, good athlete, all that stuff and everything. He may not be a bad guy. If like the second or third round comes and goes, maybe in the fourth round, take somebody like that who's got an awesome arm. You might need to work on his maybe footwork, maybe a little bit on some, because you have accuracy issues, but some of it could be your footwork. Some could be, things you can certainly work on and get better. Some of the things that, some of it's just God-given. Now, some of the quarterbacks have God-given ability, like a Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, that Tom Brady doesn't have. Okay. But then there's other quarterbacks who are like Patrick Mahomes, process and stuff, like he's faster than a freaking computer. Then you got other guys like Daniel Jones who can stand in the pocket. He drops back the pass and he kind of like stares down as one wide receiver, waiting for him to turn, So some of the stuff you can work on, some of it you can't. Some of it's just God-given ability, athletic ability, right? But some of it is also up here as you're processing. Some guys process faster than other guys. But I mean, Milton, he wouldn't be bad to take a stab at. So there are other guys. And the one nice thing is you look at, and you always think it's like, we got, I don't want to call Dable the quarterback whisperer and like that, but he did pretty good with Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen, tall cannon of an arm, was not very accurate, but he played, in bad weather in college. They jumped up to grab him with number 7, I believe it was overall. That and things worked out pretty well for him. So look, we won 3 games last year, right? We were 6-11. We won 3 games with the third string quarterback. And the thing is, with the third string quarterback, Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan, right? It wasn't like he was on the team for 13 years. He knew the Dable system, So you rush him onto the field, and he knows the play. He's been on with the Giants for 300 years. No, you know what I mean. So we tried a third string quarterback out there with a very bad team, right? And we won 3 games. That's pretty impressive. So. I mean, I think if Dable sees one of these later round picks and he thinks he can work some magic with them, you draft them, you sit them on the sideline, you let them, watch and learn and all of that, and you keep developing them, and maybe next season you can maybe unleash them. So, I mean, if worse comes to worse, there's always next season too. But if they're not that thrilled on Daniel Jones, that their clock is 10, or I don't want to say, I don't know if it's going to be Shane and Dable. Like if things really go bad, if they're like a pair, if things really go bad, they're both going to be gone, or if Shane's going to be here and Dable will be fired or not or whatever. But they got to see some improvement this season. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a great draft. Great draft. The thing was, it's going to be a lot different because last season when I was live, you're just waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and you get down toward the, you know what I mean? So the whole time you're not sure what the Giants are going to trade up, or they're going to stay still, they're going to move back, you know what's going on. But this year, quite possibly the Giants will be over with rather quickly, and then I'll have to sit around and watch like the Cowboys pick and then the loser Eagles pick and stuff like that and all that. So, but it's going to be different, but it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, wait, let's see here. So for the Giants to get picked as one of the worst rosters, I mean, it's hard to argue. I don't know if they have the 30th worst roster, but they have some holes to fill. As I keep saying all the time, let's see what the Giants do in this year's draft, next year's free agency, and next year's draft. Because if Waller were to retire, they can still do something with Bobby Okereke's contract. They can do something with Andrew Thomas's contract. They get rid of Daniel Jones. They're going to save themselves some money next season. So they'll have some money to spend. They can bring in another, I don't know if they're going to be spending $30 million on another Brian Burns, but they can bring in whatever. They need a good cornerback. They can bring in a good cornerback. If they need a good tight end, I don't know who the free agent tight ends are next season, but I mean, they can go out and, they can go out and bring in a couple real good studs. And then in next year's draft some studs too. And then let's see what the roster looks like. How is our roster? Oh my God. Well, according to this one guy from The Athletic, we're the 30th rated roster of all. It's hard to argue with that. I mean, when you only win 6 games, Then, of course, I said, our biggest weapon was Saquon Barkley, and he's gone, right? Then our was supposed to be our dog of a wide receiver, Darren Waller. Well, he may not even play football ever again. Then our leading wide receiver for 4 of the past 5 seasons, he's holding. Don't know if he's holding out. That's going to be something interesting to follow as we go along. He wants another contract extension, or he wants a contract extension or something like that. That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But that's another one of the things in one of my this article I'm going to read about why we need to draft a wide receiver, a top wide receiver in this year's draft, because Darius Slayton, unless we give him some kind of contract extension, Darius Slayton will be bye-bye after the season. The thing is, if we sign Darius Slayton to a contract extension, I don't know, just add another year onto his contract or something like that. But he wants an extension, but he also wants to be bumped up too. I don't blame him. He's led our team in receiving 4 out of 5 years. Right? All he does is catch over 700 yards worth of receiving yards, 4 out of 5 years with a bad offensive line, bad, not the greatest quarterback play, and he just keeps leading the team in receptions. The thing is that, if we do sign him to a contract extension, say add another year on, right, and bump his yearly salary up to whatever, $8 or $10 million a year, so maybe he'll be happy. The thing is that, we drafted Wan'Dale Robinson, so he's in the slot. We had drafted Daniel Bellinger, so I'm sure he'll get a decent, whether Waller's here or not, right? So he'll be a tight end quite a bit. We drafted Jalen Hyatt, moved up to get him, right? So he's going to be probably on the field quite a bit. And then we drafted a dog of a wide receiver, right? Neighbors or Dunzier or Harrison, whatever, right? He's going to be out there too. So where's Slayton going to be at? Not all the time, but Slayton's going to spend some time on the bench. So you just give this guy a contract extension, maybe bump up his, give him a yearly salary bump or what, and you got this guy sitting on the bench. So that's going to be a little tricky, going forward. We'll have to wait and see. All right. There we go. Now we got the best fits for the Giants, the tight ends. Now, whether or not Darren Waller is going to be there, I'll have to wait and see. At one point, not too long ago, it looked as though the Giants were going, this is from SI.com, the Giants were going to gravitate to more of a 12 personnel on offense where the tight end would become the focus of the passing game. Yep. The intention wasn't bad, but the Giants' approach was questionable. New York took a low-risk, high-reward gamble on Darren Waller, whom they acquired in the trade with the Raiders for the 3rd-round pick. That's another one of the shames, right? Is that, if Waller does wind up retiring, we basically gave up a 3rd-round pick for a guy who played 12 games for us. Yeah. I'm not saying with that 3rd-round pick we would have drafted a Hall of Famer, right, or an All-Pro or something like that. But, if you hit on the pick, right, you should be getting a big-time contributor in the 3rd round, right? And we just gave that pickup for somebody. Now, hopefully Shane will take this going forward, right? I'm not going to trade high draft capital on somebody who might only play half the season for or something like that, or somebody who has a recurring injury history, right? If I do trade somebody, like what he did here, he traded a 2nd-round pick and gave up all that money for Burns, okay? But one thing you can say about Burns is healthy history. Health, history. Is that right? That's probably not right, but that's my English. But he's been healthy, okay? He hasn't traded away a 2nd-round pick to get Burns, who missed half of last season, and he missed all of 2021 with the torn ACL and nothing like that. Burns has been very consistent as far as being available. So Shane, live and learn. Let's see here. But the problem is that Waller hasn't been healthy. According to Sports Info Solutions, the Giants used 11 personnel 73% of the time last season, the 5th most in the league, but they only had a success rate of 36%, 30th, which was 30th in the league. They ran 12 personnel 23% of the time, which was the 11th most in the league, right? They had a success rate of 38%, which is still 26. They have not had very good success rate. For comparison purposes, the Chiefs used 11 personnel 61% of the time, which is 22nd most with a 44% success rate, which is 10th. And a 12 personnel, which is the Chiefs ran with 28% of the time, which was 4th most in the league with a 41% success rate. The point is that a dynamic and healthy tight end can be a blessing for an offense. Yep. But the key thing is a healthy tight end. Bellinger healthy, right? Darren Waller not healthy. While Waller has shown an ability to be a dynamic, the health factor has been missing from his game. This combined with the fact that the Giants' lack of a legitimate number 1 wide receiver was a factor in the passing game struggle, regardless of who the quarterback was. Biggest question, will Darren Waller retire? Yep, you have no idea. This is why, for the Giants, in our opinion, must get a legitimate number one wide receiver who can create matchup nightmares for the defense. We feel that Daniel Bellinger, who was almost a forgotten man in the passing offense last year, thanks to the arrival of Waller, can hold down the fort for the team this season as a pass catcher, even though he's not quite as athletic as a healthy Waller. Yeah, so between this season and next season, I'd really like to see the Giants go out and get and he can be like a Brock Bowers kind of guy, or whatever, an Evan Engram kind of guy, But yeah, an athletic mismatch of a tight end, right? Where like when we had Evan Engram, it wasn't like, all right, we're going to put Evan Engram on the line and he'll be able to handle the defensive end in the blood. No, you put Evan Engram on it because he's like a mismatch. Same thing with Darren Waller, But I really, between this year and next season, between next free agency and next year's draft, go in and get a receiving tight end, someone who's a little more athletic than Daniel Bellinger. And Bellinger's got to do a better job blocking this season. His rookie season wasn't bad. Last season, he just seemed like he took a step back. Let's see here. As for Waller, we'd say that there's a better chance than not that he will retire. Now, Howard Cross said this too. He's like, one thing he says, like, if you're thinking about retiring, you're retired. So it's kind of start thinking about, talking about it and all of that and everything, and then to come back and, so I mean, he might come back and play. Who knows? But if his mind's heading in that area, even if he does come back, we'll have to wait and see. But there's a good chance this might be his last season with the Giants, even if he does come back, right? We don't anticipate seeing him during the spring, and he's indicated to The Athletic that he'd likely make a decision by the end of spring period, well before training camp begins. I hope so. While Waller has been said to be keeping in shape physically, we question how in shape mentally he would be given his time away. We understand that following a frustrating and disappointing season, players need to decompress, and many of them do so by taking a couple of weeks to a month off after a season ends. But the feeling is longer that Waller drags us out, continues to pursue his other interests, the less likely he is to return for a second season for the Giants. Yep. Now, they talk about some guys here, and they talk about, obviously, Brock Bowers. Now, I'd be shocked if the Giants would have taken, Brock Bowers, unless they were to trade back. We got Slayton, got Butterfingers, and he never reached. Nope. He's all out. That was, I'll tell you what, man, that was one of the things that just, he did have some dropsies. He said, he's had a couple notable drops. That he has. That's for damn sure. Now they're talking about here in this article, SI.com, as far as tight ends. Now, as I said, they're talking about Brock Bowers here. Now, if they would take Brock Bowers, okay, now he could be, as of right now, your number one receiving threat, whether Waller's there or not. You're not going to get much out of him. He's a willing blocker. He's not a dynamic, unbelievable blocker as a tight end, but he's a good receiver. But he's he's dynamic after the catch. He can very good at yakking it, right? I would be rather shocked if they were to take him in with pick number 6 overall. Absolutely shocked. What I would say, like, if they were to trade back, right? If for whatever reason they traded back, I don't know, to like number 11, just say with Minnesota for whatever reason, right? I mean, Minnesota jumped up with the Giant, right? And if Brock Bowers was there at number 11, I could see that, right? That way, I mean, that would kill like almost 2 birds with 1 stone. You'd have he may not be obviously as dynamic as maybe a Neighbors or a Dunzier, but he would be your number 1 wide receiver, tight end or whatever, right? But then you'd have your receiving tight end, right? You can, Waller comes back or not, whatever. Waller will be gone after this season, right? You can maybe get your dog of a wide receiver next season. But at number 6, I couldn't see the Giants taking Brock Bowers at number 6. I mean, Then they got Theo Johnson from Penn State. And I can certainly see somebody like him, obviously, in day 2. He's 6'6", 257 pounds. Ran a 4.57 40. 39.5-inch vertical leap. Dude, I almost had a 40-inch vertical leap at 6'6". Very impressive. That means you can just basically throw the ball anywhere in the sky and he'll jump up and catch it. I mean, just a very good athlete. Let's see here. Then they got late day 2 or day 3. You got Ben Sinnott from Kansas State, who the Giants brought in for a visit. Okay. He's somebody to keep an eye on. Like saying whatever, round 4, if he's there, don't be surprised if the Giants don't get him. I would not be surprised at all. 6'4", 250 pounds, has a versatile frame and can line up as an inline or detached tight end, H-back or fullback. Fantastic. Fantastic. He also is a capable blocker who can lose slow at the line of scrimmage or spring ball carriers in space. Sinnott has reportedly had a top 30 visit with the Giants, is a good athlete in his own right, particularly considering his build, and as a valuable receiver for the Wildcats. We're not sure if he falls to day 3. Well, somebody, the Giants can maybe take it in the 3rd round. We'll have to wait and see. Or it could be somebody like somewhere along the lines, like with a Sinnott, right? I mean, could be like what happened with Hyatt last year. The Giants took their 3rd pick 70. Came and went. The Giants took somebody pick 70, and Sinnott's on the board, and then Sinnott's on the board, and Sinnott's on the board, and the picks go by, and he gets up in the pick like 80, 85, maybe 90, somewhere around there, whatever. And the Giants, and then, maybe he's sticking out kind of like a sore thumb to Joe Shane, the way Hyatt was, maybe, and they're like, man, I wonder if we can, and then you start looking who needs tight ends. Oh, this team needs a tight end. So maybe we can jump up and maybe we can call so-and-so. Maybe we can jump up and trade our 4th and 5th round pick to jump up and at that spot, maybe grab Sinnott. So who knows? But the Giants definitely can use a valuable, a receiving tight end. And the nice thing would be if they drafted somebody like Sinnott or Theo Johnson or whatever from Penn State, then you have 2 really young tight ends moving forward. Bellinger would just be his 3rd season, and somebody here you draft here. Then you have a nice, especially if we draft. Just think, right? Just think of the young pups we'd have, right? And I'm just saying, suppose just right. What Shane might do in 3 seasons, right? I mean, we'd have Hyatt, right? Wando Robinson, maybe a Dunzier or Neighbors, right? We got Bellinger, and then we would draft a young tight end also in the 3rd or 4th round or something like that. Put that in. All these guys would be only like 3 years of experience or less. We'd have like 4 or 5 guys across the, be nice. Really, really be nice. Especially if we can get our number 1 wide receiver. That's going to be huge because that number 1 guy opens stuff up, right? Because, I know we got, we have speed here with Hyatt. We got speed with Slayton. And you got Robinson underneath who can do his thing. But a lot of it's also, when you drop back the pass and within half a second, the whole defense is on your quarterback because nobody can block anybody. So stuff all works in tandem. But if you can get yourself a number 1 wide receiver, like remember Odell Beckham Jr., rookie season, right? It's like, the Giants break the huddle and the defense is like, where's he at? He's over there. Okay, so I mean, all right, we got somebody underneath and we got somebody over top of him. Always got 2 guys on him. Oh, and that's it. You know what I mean? Open stuff up for everybody. When 1 guy can take 2 guys, right, that starts opening things up. So let's hope we can get our number 1 wide receiver. All right, so that's the tight ends. And then we got, here we go. How about your special teams here? What the Giants might do on special teams in the 2024 NFL Draft. This is from the New York Post. Graham Gano is 37 years old and coming off of his on surgery. Yeah. Past season, he missed 6 field goals after missing only 8 the previous 3 seasons with the Giants. Yeah, that one against the Jet game, man, that was a killer. Another leg is needed, and it seems as if the coaching staff wants to add some youth to the place kicker position this summer, even with Gano on the scene. I mean, he should be back, and hopefully, we'll have to wait and see. You don't know. Will he be as good as new? Don't know, but he will be 37, okay? Cam Little of Arkansas is a player the Giants have studied. In his 3-year college career, Little hit 82.8% of his field goals with a long of 56 yards. So that's pretty freaking good. 83% field goal. And also, he was a perfect 129 for 129 on extra points. So, right. And the nice thing about taking somebody like a kicker, right? We're not taking a kicker in the first round. So if you're taking a kicker, you're taking a kicker in the 4th round, 5th round, whatever like that. You're getting them on the cheap. So there was a new special teams coordinator. Obviously, Michael Gabriel replaces T-Mac. Gabriel spent his past 3 seasons as a Jets assistant. Given the new kickoff rules, finding a return man in this draft makes sense too. Well, there is, you go both ways, right? Finding an additional return man in this draft, because let's not forget, right? The Giants, we got Gunner, okay, who returns the punts, but we did pick up Isaiah McKenzie, right, who is going to be our quite possibly our kickoff return specialist. So we get the Gunner as the punt. McKenzie is a kickoff, but there's going to be 2 kickoff return guys. So McKenzie, and then maybe one of those later round picks, because like what we did like last year and all, sometimes you're going out and obviously you're not getting guys, in the 7th round. You're not looking at this guy's an all-pro right here. Oh yeah. But what you can do, okay, is you can pick very good athletes who can be contributors, quite possibly on special teams, right? That you can do. And what the Giants did, like toward the end of last season, right? We drafted Trey Hawkins III. He did struggle in the regular season, but he's a very good athlete. Javarius Owens, very good athlete, right? These guys like those can help contribute on special teams. Carter Coughlin, who we did resign, right? Later round pick, very good on special teams. Darnay Holmes, was not a 1st or 2nd round pick, but wound up being a very good gunner for us. Cam Brown, 5th or 6th round pick, I forgot, but he signed with the Dolphins anyway. But a later round pick, fantastic special teams player. It's just a shame that I guess he wasn't. Some of these things you just never know why they brought Carter Coughlin back, who was good on special teams, but is not phenomenal on defense. Why they brought him back and not Cam Brown, who is good on special teams, but is not phenomenal on defense. Why one and why didn't? You don't know. You're never going to know, right? But as I said, later on, picking these guys later on, athletes, right, who can participate on special teams. Quite possibly, you can certainly pick up somebody. I mean, look, we drafted freaking Dave Meggett from, I think, Townsend State, 5th round, I think it was. Right? I mean, just a good return athlete and all that. You can get, there's guys out there, right? And those later round picks, good athletes who can help participate. And I said, let's never forget about special teams. Nothing more demoralizing, right? You score a touchdown, everybody's jumping up and down, high-fiving, chest bumping, and woo, here we go, baby. Then you kick off, and because your special team stinks, you kick off, and the guy runs it back for a touchdown, right? Or like what happened last season in the Detroit preseason game. Detroit beat us, but they beat us by about a touchdown. Well, I don't know. They ran a punt back for a touchdown. Right? There's your difference in the ball game right there. So, don't forget about special teams. it seemed like also with Shane, like his first draft, right? He drafted a lot of guys, good athletes, but they were captains, a lot of captains, right? But he also seemed, good quality guys, smart, tough, and dependable, right? And all of that, but also, good quality guys. But, he's getting some good athletes in there as well, right? So, I mean, they're going to need a kicker sooner or later. I don't know how long Graham Gano is going to be around for. So somewhere along the line, we're going to need another kicker. So that's a possibility, drafting a kicker in the later rounds. Absolutely. All right. Then we got. There we go. Now I want to go over this here. Now this is a good one. This is from Sports Naught. It says 4 reasons why the Giants need a top receiver in this year's draft. And this is some good stuff here. Rookie receivers pan out more than quarterbacks. Yep. New York's passing game has been putrid. Yeah, I wouldn't even say it was that good over the past several seasons. They haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver since Odell Beckham Jr. in 2018. Yep. And it was a shame because he had 1,000-yard receiving. That was Saquon Barkley's first year in the league. He had 2,000 all-purpose yards, right? And then, boom, Odell Beckham Jr.'s gone. Saquon Barkley's gone. Anyway. And they've had the 31st ranked passing offense in 2 of the last 3 seasons. 31st ranked. Wonder why we can't even win a football game. Acquiring one of the top 3 wideouts can finally give the G-men a number 1 wide receiving target. And the thing is that, of course, unless the guy gets injured, which, that you don't know. I mean, unless you're drafting somebody who has a history like a Darren Waller, this guy is unbelievable. But he misses every other college game because he has pulled hamstring. Something like that. But if you're picking guys who are basically, for the most part, are healthy free, right? Now, you draft one of these guys, right? Once again, unless he gets injured, okay, that you got for at least that it should hopefully for the next 5-6 years, somewhere along the line, a guy starts slowing down 5, 6, 7 years or so. You got yourself your dog of a wide receiver. It's like how long we've been waiting to, well, we did draft tackles. Eric Flower, so we did draft tackles to get our left tackle, but it took a while. How many times, the Giants need a left tackle? Finally we got Andrew Thomas. Now we don't have to listen to that anymore for at least a little while. So let's get our number 1 wide receiver so we don't have to hear that for at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it is. God, I'm sick and tired of hearing that. Same thing with like the edge rushers. Giants need edge. We can always use depth at edge rusher. Don't get me wrong there. Without question. But I'm just so sick and tired, because we got Kayvon and we got Barnes. We got our 2. And we got Azeez off the bench, which is fantastic. Let's hopefully he can stay healthy, right? But you can always use some quality edge rusher depth without question. You never have too many edge rushers. And I was even hearing kind of too another thing, right, which makes a little bit of sense, right? Say it's like 3rd down. Okay, 3rd down and whatever, 3rd and 10, right? Good chances of passing down. Well, I was kind of hearing, I can't remember what podcast it was. There's so many podcasts out there. But one of the guys was talking about, like, quite possibly, right, having Azeez Ojulari on the edge, Brian Burns on the other edge, Sexy Dexy in the middle. He'll take a couple of guys with him, push in the pocket, and you got Kayvon next to him because Kayvon's got some size to him. Kayvon has a little bit of weight to him, okay? So he could probably, maybe try to work some magic next to Sexy Dexy, right? Right, so you'd have 3 guys in there, basically 3 edge rushers in there, and then you got Sexy Dexy. You can just push the pocket back. That wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad at all. But you can always need another really good defensive tackle, and you can never have too many edge rushers. So, but I'm saying that wouldn't be a bad package. Having those 4 guys on the field at one time, that wouldn't be bad. But that would be like a passing down kind of thing. I don't think you'd want to have that out there on a, I don't think you want to have Kayvon in there next to Sexy Dexy on like a running down or something like that. But the wide receiver, absolutely. The draft is a crapshoot. And there's been countless players labeled as can't-miss prospects, which is true, who have never lived up to their billing. However, if you look at the receivers taken within the top 10 overall pick over the last 3 years, they've all fared well. Jamar Chase, I mean, Jesus goodness. Jaylen Waddle, absolutely. DeVonta Smith, Drake London, yep, and Garrett Wilson were all taken with the top 10 overall pick of the past 3 years. And all of them, except for London, have at least 2 1,000-yard receiving seasons on their resume. So the thing is that picking a receiver in the top 10, you have a better chance of, being correct than if you were to draft a quarterback in the top 10. Quarterback in the top 10 is about a 50-50 kind of proposition. A wide receiver, you have a much better chance of the guy being pretty dynamic. If you look at quarterbacks taken in the top 10 over that span, over the past, 3 seasons, you got Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Bryce Young, and C.J. Stroud. Only Lawrence and Stroud have proven thus far that they were worthy to be taken in the top 10. Playing quarterback is obviously a tougher position than receiver, absolutely. But based on what they accomplish in college, Harrison Jr., Neighbors, and Odunze would seem to be safer options to live up to their pre-draft hype as opposed to taking the 4th best quarterback in the draft. Absolutely. The Giants need someone to help them win this season because this is a big season. And I'm not saying that my bad. None of those quarterbacks in the draft are better than DJ. Well, this season, no, I think Daniel Jones is the best option for the Giants this season. Okay. The thing is, how's his leg going to be? How's that going to hold up? How mobile or immobile will he be? Right. But I think without question, I think Daniel Jones definitely gives the Giants the best chance this season because he knows this is going to be his 3rd season with the Dable, right? And you give him better offensive line play. You give him a dog of a wide receiver. I think without question, Daniel Jones was the best option for the Giants this season. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. I mean, because if the Giants, I'm just saying, if they draft anybody, even McCarthy, he's not going to be on the field. I mean, if they draft, I don't even think if they get drafted May, he's not going to be on the field. Anybody, Rattler, Nix, Penix, Milton, any of those guys, they're going to be on the sideline learning. So Daniel Jones is the best opportunity that they have this season, no question. But this season, drafting a wide receiver, I said, I'm not saying Dable's seat is on fire or not like that, but they need to see improvement, right? I mean, unless the whole team just gets decimated once again by injuries, we need to see improvement over 6-11. We need to start going on the up and up. So, we need to see some improvement this season, right? And a number 1 wide receiver will be huge. Drafting a quarterback in the 1st round would be huge maybe next season, not this season. And the thing is also, it's kind of like you look at, you don't know how long, Dable's going to be around. If we don't see improvement this season, I don't think he's going to get fired. I don't think he'd be fired this season. But, if we don't see improvement, next season is going to be a little warm next season. And if you put a quarterback in, and say we draft J.J. McCarthy, just throwing and you put him out there next season, and he's your starting quarterback, and things don't go right, and you don't see improvement next season, Dable could be bye-bye. Then the problem with that, right, is that Dable goes bye-bye, right? You bring another coach in. All right, okay, yeah, I'd love to take the job, yeah. But that is J.J. McCarthy. Yeah, he's not my quarterback. He's not my car. I'm not going down with this Titanic with J.J. McCarthy. And then you got the problem all over again, right? So what do you? Because you're not coupling up. You're not marrying the quarterback and the coach. Why? Because you just drafted J.J. McCarthy, and the coach that just drafted J.J. McCarthy, Brian Daboll, you just fired. So now you're bringing another coach in who's got to want to, work in a, so then it's like you just spent heavy draft cap on J.J. McCarthy. You fired Brian Daboll. You brought a new coach in, and he's like, yeah, that's not my car. I want to get another quarterback. So, so what is he going to do? He's going to draft another quarterback, So you have to be very careful about drafting, where you draft the quarterbacks at, what coach drafts the quarterback, right? Because the coach drafts the quarterback, if he ain't around here in a year or two, you got another coach coming in. He may not want that quarterback. And we're screwed all over again, right? But yeah, having somebody to help the Giants win this season is huge. From what Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen have said, this offense, Daniel Jones will be the starter if he's healthy. If that's true, that would mean the quarterback New York would take in the first round would seldom see the field, if at all, this season. If they would draft a quarterback in the first round this season, the quarterback would hardly see the field. After going 6-11 a year ago, Schoen and Daboll can ill afford another double-digit loss season, or else they could be out of a job. Now, as I said, I don't know, if he's going to do the package deal where if Daboll goes, Shane's going to go too. That I don't know. I'm not so sure if he's going to want to keep, keep getting rid of coaches and keep getting rid of GMs. So if somewhere along the line, if they were to get rid of Daboll, I think he might keep Shane around, but we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, so they need select a player that can help them win now and show ownership that the team is moving in the right direction. Let's start winning now. Let's start picking up some more wins than last season. Show we're going in the right direction. Okay, I mean nobody's expecting us to win a Super Bowl. Newsflash: Giants ain't winning the Super Bowl this season. All right, but can we go in start going in the right direction, right? And let's see what we can do next year in free agency and the draft, and let's see where we're at, right? But we got to start trending upwards. And drafting a number one wide receiver would do that big time. As we mentioned previously, over the past several seasons, rookie receivers have come into the league and have immediately become the focal point of an offense. And that can happen. Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, with Kafka and Daboll, right, the two minds, right, I think without question, they can get the dog of a wide receiver and make him become a huge impact without question. Giants can take a quarterback in the later rounds of this draft, and they have a picture here of Spencer Rattler. The Giants decide to take a receiver in round one. That doesn't mean that they can't draft a quarterback of the future in a later round. The Giants have done extensive work evaluating quarterbacks in this draft class, including Bo Nix and Spencer Rattler. Giants hosted Nix and Rattler on pre-draft visits, and it's possible Nix could still be on the board. I don't know. Well, maybe. All right. You never know. When the Giants draft in the second round, I picked number 47 overall. So I forget the Giants can also trade up to grab one of these quarterbacks too in the second round, right? Or they could take Rattler somewhere on day 2 of the draft. Maybe take Rattler at number 47, or if they think they can wait till number 70, who knows? Many feel Daboll is a quarterback guru, and if that's the case, fans should feel confident that he can help groom a quarterback prospect who's not taken in the first round. And let's not forget, I mean, let's not totally, we should be, oh yeah, no, we should be playoff contenders if as long as we can stay healthy and we start trending up. We can take a number one wide receiver. I mean, the defense should be okay, should be decent. I'm not saying we're going to be, we're blowing out the 49ers, we're going to kill the Cowboys, and I'm not saying that, but we should be. I mean, you see teams with 8 or 9 wins knocking on that playoff door. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, I said, if we can stay healthy, if we get that better offensive line play, oh, yeah, absolutely. We should be playoff contenders. Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd be really disappointed if we're not. Absolutely. All right, so then they got the last one here. The last thing here is Darius Slayton will be a free agent after the 2024 season. So, as a general manager, you always want to be thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead, which means he has to have the eyes on the upcoming free agents. One of those players is Darius Slayton, who's entering the final year of his 2-year contract. Although he's never had 800 receiving yards in a season, he's currently the team's number 1 wideout. Although he's expressed how much he enjoys being a Giant, he didn't attend voluntary workouts this week, and he might want a richer contract than the front office is willing to give him. By taking a receiver in the first round this year, not only will they be poised to supplant Slayton as the number 1 option in 2024, but they won't feel the void as much if Slayton leaves via free agency in 2025. Yep. And I said, let's not also forget, right? I mean, we brought Hodgins back as well, too. Okay, so that's cool, right? But the thing, as I said, is they drafted Hyatt for a reason. You draft a wide receiver in the 3rd round with that kind of speed. You want to get that guy on the field, right? Hopefully he can start developing his game a little bit better, and hopefully we'll get him on the field a little bit more and hopefully get more production. But once again, it's kind of hard to get production from a guy, especially if you want the guy going deep when the quarterback has about half a second to throw a football. Not much going to happen that way. But you see the potential with Hyatt, right? They've also drafted Wan'Dale Robinson. The guy started really coming into his own toward the end of last season, right? And I said, then you draft a dog or a wide receiver, right? That doesn't leave much room for Slayton. And so, unfortunately, Slayton, and I don't blame him, he wants to get paid. So he probably wound up going someplace else. Right? All right. And then we saw it. Dun, 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 dun. The Giants need a cornerback, right? Now, once again, according to PFF, all right, this is what I'm going to go over, just PFF, right? There is a ton of corner backs in this draft. Now, I mean, they have, what do we got? 1, 2, 1. As far as the players are ranked, okay, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got 5 guys ranked in the top 26 with Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid McKinstry from Roll Tide. Is the 26th overall. So they got 5 guys in the top 26 as far as cornerbacks. The Giants could draft a cornerback if they slide back a little bit. If they trade back, I'm just saying, if some reason, somehow, some way, whatever, right? The Broncos, if McCarthy, whatever reason, comes back to number 6, the Giants are there, and the Broncos call, right, the Giants, offer the Giants, I mean, with or without Surtain, you know what I mean? I've heard possibly trading up and put PlayStation 2 in there, right? So that would absolutely, if the Giants got PlayStation 2 from the Broncos, then they're not looking for a cornerback. But if the Broncos trade up and don't give us PlayStation 2, Patrick Surtain second, right? The Giants fall back to where the Broncos, there's some good cornerbacks there. Don't be surprised if the Giants don't take a corner if they go there. Just from all the stuff I hear and read and all that, number 6 is a little too high for even the top cornerback in this draft. And if one of those wide receivers there, they pass on a wide receiver to take a cornerback, I'd be rather shocked. But there's a lot of cornerbacks here. Is it like in the 2nd round? They got, let's see, I think they got like 12 cornerbacks in the top 100. 1, 2, and hold on, I think it's even more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They got 13 cornerbacks in the top 89, right? So if you look at it, they got 13 cornerbacks as far as ranked, right, and they're just players overall in the top 89. So basically 13 cornerbacks in the top three rounds of the draft. There's a ton of cornerbacks. The Giants can certainly grab, and we don't need a shutdown corner. Hey, if we got Patrick Surtain II from the Broncos and we slid on back, sign me up for that. I'll take it. All right. So then we got Banks and we got Surtain. Sign me up for that, baby. Right? I love it. But we have our number one cornerback, Banks, right? So we don't need a shutdown cornerback. It would be nice if we got one. Hey, I ain't gonna complain, but we don't need one. We need one who can be pretty good. We don't need a 10. We don't need a Deion Sanders. We don't need a 10 or a 9 or something like that. We can use it. Give me a nice 8, something like that, right? That we can use. So, and there's a ton of them. I said, if you look in the top like 200, let me this is PFF here, right? So that's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. They got 25 cornerbacks out of the top 180 players, 25. So basically, at that rate, if my calculations are correct, 1 out of every 7 players that PFF has ranked is a cornerback from 1 to 180. They got 25 of them. So basically, almost 1 out of every 7 players is a cornerback. That's a ton of. I mean, the one nice thing about this, the Giants need a cornerback. We need wide receivers. We need a quarterback. Those are 3 really good, strong positional groups this year for the Giants. Even offensive line, but we just kind of we kind of put that to I think on the back burner. I think because all the free agents we brought in, right? So not forget we got Mizzou coming back, McKeith, and the guys that we brought in. So I'm not sure if we're going to be drafting somebody on the offensive line in the first 3 rounds. I'd be shocked if we did something like that. But cornerback, quarterbacks, and wide receivers, very strong class. And the Giants need all 3 of those positions. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants went 1, 2, 3, right? Wide receiver in the first round, corner back in the second, quarter in the third, quarter in the second, cornerback in the third. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So the Giants need, if they think, well, let's see. As I said, nope. Oh, man. There we go. All right, let's see here. Who do the Giants have? Because I don't want to miss anybody here. We got Nick McLeod, Trey Hawkins the third. Then we got Stanley Thomas Oliver. Okay, I'll put everybody in. I got Jalen Mills, Javarius Owens, Gio, Jason Pinnock, Dane Belton, Tay Banks, Aaron Robinson. That's if he can even come back from that horrific leg injury he had. I don't even know if you can even count on that guy ever playing ever again. But you keep your hopes up. When the guy was healthy and he was on the field, Aaron Robinson was pretty darn good. I'm not saying a Hall of Fame or all pro like that, but he was very good. It's just guy can't stay healthy. So I would not depend upon Aaron Robinson playing much this season, if at all. We'll have to wait and see. Can he come back from his? Because I ain't hearing nothing from the guy. Nothing. I ain't hearing nobody talk about him. Oh, he's doing good. I mean, like with Daniel Jones. Oh, my recovery's coming good. I'm doing. I mean, you don't hear nobody talking about Aaron Robinson. Nothing. So he's a mystery man. We also got, Caleb Hayes. We got Cordell Flott, right, and Darnay Holmes. So we got a couple, the corners, the slot corners or nickel corners, whatever. We got, so we got some guys. But, if the Giants wanted to draft a cornerback in the second or third round, this is a perfect draft for that. Said we don't need, we did that last season. We paid our dues last season. We got our number 1 cornerback, right? We did that, right? So we want to get cornerback number 2, right? We can do that in the second or third round. It's a perfect draft. I said wide receiver, corner, and quarterback. 3 needs for the Giants is a perfect draft for that. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 14 minutes. Ruben and DQ. Thanks for talking to me, brother. Thanks for keeping me awake. I greatly appreciate it. So it'll be here before you know it. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world. I mean, as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh yeah.